Hey guys, Tarke here, and I want to cover my goals for the rest of the league. Now, my main character this league has been my level 96 Immolate Slayer, which I've been playing with my good friend Kane on his support character. Kane really wants to get that support to 100 and has been nagging me to do so. Now, since we've got a month or so left of the league, and I'm kind of wanting to start stockpiling build ideas for the next league, getting 100 seems like a somewhat achievable goal now. So, how am I attempting to do it, and why are you seeing a Scion with Spark? I'm very adamant in the fact that I don't want to get that 100 push just doing beachheads. For me, beachheads are that thing that you do just before maps to get to mid-80s, so you can then jump straight into the fun maps. Beachhead roaders, I've done too many of them this league. They're just kind of frustrating and kind of boring. So in the case of us getting 100, the main ways we'll be doing it would be farming Sextant Shores, jumping down to 11 so we run out of Sextants, and farming the Guardian maps. Guardian maps are really solid XP, you just skip the boss. So it'd just be like, run the minnow map, skip the boss, run Sextant Shores, and we have all our Sextants. When we run out of Sextants we don't want to buy anymore, jump down into 11s, go back into doing the Sextant Shores. Seems good. That's the setup we're going for. Now, my Slayer character is my go-to character when I just want to earn the mums. It's also a character that I've recently been doing a lot of the Breach Lords on because it can face tank nearly all content thanks to it that life gain on hit works. That still seems like a really solid thing to have as a side thing, so that when I'm getting frustrated about, okay Kane, I'm like bored now, let's jump onto that, let's do some Breach rotations, let's do some cool things, let's do that stuff. So I'm leveling this character. Spark Nova I think is a very underrated build. I have played with many Spark Nova characters this league, and I've also had quite a few pretty respected players who are my viewers who also play it, and it just seems to kind of be going under the radar. I would say it's at least, probably better, but it's at least as good as EK Nova. But people say, but Tarke, Spark doesn't have single target damage. Anyone who watches my stream knows me and Kane skip bosses because it's just better for us to spec entirely into map clear and have just enough damage, because bosses aren't worth doing if you have a map base. If you've got a map base, they don't drop anything unless they're going for like specific div cuts. My opinion, that's how I'm playing the game. So for that, Spark Nova is perfect. Also, it's a little bit fresher for the stream, and it's kind of under the radar, so this will be kind of my like, let's show people that Spark Nova is actually pretty decent. So you go, alright, that makes perfect sense, Tarke. So why the fuck aren't you on an Inquis, and why are you on a Scion? Because everyone you know who plays Spark Nova plays it on an Inquis, and Inquis is obviously the best option. Reflect. Also, I play Duo. So, let's look at some skill trees, and I'll talk to you about why I am going Scion over Inquis, but quickly, in case you didn't know, the reason why Inquis is so amazing, and it is amazing, what I'd recommend for basically everyone who isn't me: Instruments of Virtue, spell damage, attack speed, cast speed. You have these three things up all the fucking time. Ignore all elemental resistances. Augury of Penitence, increase the elemental damage, deal less elemental damage. It's perfect. Why wouldn't you take it? Reflect. The goal of this build is to be my insane map clear pusher. To make that a goal, because I'm not interested in 100, Kane's one who's interested in 100, I need to have something that I can go for. That thing will be a headhunter. When you have a headhunter, Reflect is fucking scary, yeah? Also, these guys weren't playing with supports. Supports add a lot of damage. When you take it in Quiz, give it a headhunter, put it on and give it a support, you're asking to fall the fuck over to Reflect. Also, my support gets tired and likes to put Reflect maps in when he's not paying attention. There is no way in hell I would ever play it in Quiz with Kane as my support. It's just asking for trouble. Also, I know all the people who are kind of doing the Inquisitor thing. The skill trees are very set in stone. It's very much a finished package. It's me just taking someone else's build. This is me taking someone else's build, but getting to keep a little bit of hipster value. That being said, embbu has been very, very helpful coming up with Scion trees, so all the credit in the world going to him, and also for Nin, just for helping me in general with my Spark questions. Also, there are a few like transitional things you can do with Scion which make it a little bit more interesting as well, and now we'll cover the different options you can do for Spark Nova. So, because we're so afraid of Reflect, we're going for Elementalist. We get 50% reduced Reflect here. We then also get 25% reduced Reflect from Pantheon, and we can go Sibyls for 100% Reflect immune if and when I feel like, you know what, the character's only going to die to Reflect or Kane screw me over by running Reflect maps, let's just go complete Reflect immune. It makes running maps a lot cheaper for us. Seems good, okay? Also gives a little bit of extra pen. Obviously, we need penetration, not being an Inquisitor. This is where the options come in. You either go for Assassin, or you go for Deadeye. Assassin gives you base crit chance, crit multi against enemies that are on full life, and power charge generation. Deadeye gives you 2 pierce, proj speed. Proj speed is still good. Projectiles gain damage as they travel further, and skills fire an additional projectile. Now, base, I fire 5 projectiles. Each duel gives me an additional +2. And before you say anything, the reduced spark duration doesn't matter. You just take 1 cluster, it's fine. They'll still reach their maximum distance with enough proj speed. That doesn't matter. So you go, okay, so that's 5. There's then the Helm enchant, which gives an additional +3. So that puts us up to 4 +3 is 7 +8. And then if you went for Deadeye, that's the wrong one, you would then have 9. We'll be using Esch's Mirror in this build. So it'll be the Esch's Visage Trickster with the Esch's Mirror Sparker. Speaking is difficult when you can't sleep. And this gives a bunch of flat lightning damage for each shocked enemy you've killed recently. This is a crit spark build, which only cares about mapping, so it will also be using Brightbeak. We have Barrack's Grip, giving me Leech and Mana Leech. However, I probably don't need either, since I will use Leech Enchant Boots. And to be honest, with Leech Enchant Boots, not clearing bosses, I really shouldn't need the Barracks, but I might just run it anyway, just because why not be extra safe. There's this thing called Leech Cap, but we're pretending that doesn't exist. We will use a Biscos for the vast majority of this character's life cycle, and I have a very, very juicy Biscos waiting for me. However, once I've achieved all my currency goals, and yes, I know I'm really broke right now, but I kind of have all the character bought out already, so less important. Once I have all my currency goals, basically Headhunter, by the way, I will then most likely drop the Biscos. Once we have enough currency that we're not running into any issues, we've got all our sextances sorted, the Biscos becomes less valuable. I will probably then swap to a Victario's Acuity. Victario's Acuity gives frenzy charges and power charges on kill, along with some other fluff. But Tarke, if you're going for Assassin, why would you need power charge on kill? This is where we go into the you have reached your final form stage of the build. And this is also which keeps it more interesting for me as a long-term push character. So this is my base core tree, and I'll most likely have to use Pierce in my links, or try and get hold of a pair of Voidwalker boots with boot enchant. However, once your character has fully ascended and reached that swaggy P levels, I would then actually change from Assassin over to Deadeye. The reason being is the extra projectile speed is very nice, the extra proj is kind of cool, and Ranger Star is really busted because of Primal Spirit and Druidic Rite on a Mind Over Matter build. Flask Effect, Flask Duration is really solid. Really, really, really solid. I can also jump and grab Arcane Chemistry here, and I also have a pretty juicy belt somewhere. This is with 20% reduced flask charges used. I can go full flask memes very, very easily. So, go Assassin early to solve most of my teething problems when it comes to crits. Once the build's feeling comfortable enough, drop out of that and spec into Deadeye. This will also allow me to drop the Pierce Gem or the Voidwalker boots, because 2 Pierce here, plus there is a unique jewel which gives 1 Pierce with 9 base projectiles, so spell echo, so that's 9 times 2 is 18, times by 4, because we'd have 3 Pierce, and that would mean that Spark could hit things 4 times. You're then looking at whip it into the Casio, beep boop beep boop, 18 times by 4, 72 apparently hits, I think that's right, 72 apparently hits for each individual Spark cast. At that point, 3 Pierce should be enough. If you need additional Pierce, you can take additional Pierce on the tree. However, I'd obviously rather save the skill points and instead invest into either more life over here, more life over here, come down here, grab Arcane Chemistry, grab Profane Chemistry, or come up here and grab more crit multi. these 3 crit multi-points are more efficient than going for these 4 points, so that's why you take that over that to start with. So yeah, that's basically the character in a nutshell. If I like it, this will be my push character over the Immolate Slayer. If I don't like it, I'll go for the Immolate Slayer. If it does work, Tarke revolutionizes the meta once again with someone else's build. Pogu Shampoo. I'm Tarke. I'm going to see what that trade is. Have a good day. Bye-bye.